All right, everybody, welcome back to the show today. We are diving deep into, it's always a space race, right? But this one has a serious twist. China is building a satellite network, and they say it could blow Starlink out of the water, and the secret weapon is lasers.
Yeah, I think you're right to highlight the lasers. That's what makes this so interesting and potentially such a game changer. We're talking about 100 DBPs, data transmission speeds. That's 10 times faster than anything they've done before.
Okay, so just backing up for a second. For the, less technologically inclined like myself, what is 100 GBps? What does that actually mean, like practically?
Okay, so think about it this way. Download a full 4K movie in seconds, not minutes. That's the kind of speed we're talking about. This isn't just about faster internet. This is about a whole different level of connectivity. Really massive implication.
Okay, so how do the lasers actually work? I'm picturing like a giant laser pointer in space beaming data down to Earth. Am I close?
Not quite. I mean, it is very complex, but the basic idea is that lasers are much more efficient at transmitting data than traditional radio waves, which is what Starlink mainly uses.
Oh, okay, so it's like laser beams versus radio waves, like a cosmic shootout for internet dominance.
Yes, it's a fascinating technological showdown for sure, and each
Oh.
approach has its pros and cons. Radio waves,
Hmm.
or to be more precise, microwaves are less prone to interference from things like weather, but their slower lasers offer that incredible speed, but they're more sensitive to rain or clouds.
So on a cloudy day, your super fast space internet could basically slow to a crawl.
Yeah, that's the challenge, and that's one reason why systems like NASA's T-Bird, which actually hit an even faster 200 GBPs, haven't really taken off. They don't have something that China's system does, mobility.
Wait a minute, hold on, mobile lasers? What does that even mean?
So China has figured out how to mount their ground stations on trucks so the trucks can move around and maintain that clear line of sight with the satellites, even if it's, a stormy day.
So they're literally chasing clear skies with these trucks. That is surprisingly clever, I have to say. But, why should the average person care about this space race? It sounds pretty technical.
Because this is not just about internet speed. This is about who controls information in the future. China is looking at this technology for everything from 6G networks that's like holographic video calls, real-time AI interaction, like something straight out of science fiction, to disaster response and national defense.
Hold on, 6G, I'm barely understanding 5G.
Well, you're going to need speeds like 100 GBPs to make 6G work. Imagine coordinating disaster relief in real time with like crystal clear video no matter where you are in the world, or military communications that are virtually unhackable. That's what this technology could do.
Okay, so now we're talking less about tech demo and more like a sneak peek at the future, but China's system is still a lot smaller than Starlink, right?
It is, but they're catching up quickly. The goal is 300 laser-equipped satellites by 2027, and the real game changer here is that this technology could start to influence even those systems that already exist.
You mean like even Starlink might have to adapt to this laser revolution?
That's a real possibility. The industry is already discussing these hybrid systems that combine the speed of lasers with the reliability of microwaves, using AI to dynamically route data for the best performance.
So picture this a future where your internet connection seamlessly switches between lasers and radio waves depending on the weather now. That is wild.
Yeah, it really is wild. This is why this is such a big deal. We're not just talking about faster downloads anymore. We're talking about a possible complete shift in how we communicate and connect globally. This is just the beginning.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've covered so much ground here, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to take a quick pause, come back, and really dig into all the incredible information we've talked about so far.
Welcome back, everybody. So we've been talking about China's laser satellite system, and honestly, my mind is still reeling from all the possibilities and all the implications of this technology. It feels like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie and realizing that the future is closer than we thought. Yeah, it really does feel like a glimpse into a world that's been transformed by technology. And one of the areas where I think this could have a huge impact is disaster response.
Okay, so paint the picture for me.
Yeah.
How would this actually play out in like a real-world disaster situation?
So let's say a massive earthquake hits or a hurricane just rips through a region and communication infrastructure is just gone right now. Getting information in and out of that disaster zone is a huge challenge. But with a network of these laser-equipped satellites, suddenly you have this possibility of establishing high-bandwidth communication links almost instantly.
So we're talking about beaming in vital information, things like real-time damage assessments or even, locations of survivors, right, to rescue workers who are on the ground.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond just data. Imagine coordinating relief efforts, connecting medical teams with specialists who are far away through telemedicine even providing real-time translation services to overcome language barriers. This could completely change the game for humanitarian aid.
Yeah, it's like having a lifeline from space, cutting through all the chaos and connecting people when they need it most. But, of course, this technology isn't just for peaceful purposes, right?
Yeah, you're right. The military applications are definitely significant. Secure, high-speed communication is essential for any modern military, and this laser system could provide a huge advantage.
So I'm guessing we're talking about applications that go way beyond just sending encrypted messages.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
Think about things like real-time battlefield intelligence sharing or drone command and control. You could even coordinate autonomous weapons systems. It's like taking networked warfare to a whole new level.
Okay, so now we're venturing into slightly unsettling territory. It feels like every technological leap forward has this, potential dark side to it.
Well, it's important to remember that technology is a tool. And like
Yeah.
any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It all comes down to the intentions of the people who are using it.
True. True. Okay, but let's not dwell too much on the downsides. For now, we're talking about 6G earlier
Yeah.
and all the mind-boggling possibilities that this kind of speed unlocks. What about the impact on scientific research?
That's another area where I think this technology has the potential to be totally revolutionary.
Hmm.
Imagine being able to transmit massive amounts of data from remote research stations, telescopes, even spacecraft that are exploring other planets, and all of that in real time.
So instead of waiting months or years for data to trickle back from, let's say, a Mars rover, we could be watching live streams of the Martian landscape.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility,
Right.
right? And then think about what that means for understanding our own planet. Things like monitoring climate change,
Right.
tracking deforestation, studying ocean currents, all with this incredible detail and speed. It could be a golden age of scientific discovery.
Yeah, it's really amazing to think that we're at this point where all this is possible. But as you mentioned earlier, there are always two sides to the coin, right? What are some of the challenges or maybe even concerns that come with this level of, technological advancement?
Well, one of the biggest concerns, and I think this is something that we have to address, is space debris. As we launch more and more satellites into orbit, we increase the risk of collisions. And you can imagine this cascading effect leading to a cloud of debris that could really jeopardize future space missions.
So it's like a cosmic traffic jam with the potential for some pretty destructive fender benders.
Yeah, in a way, that's a good analogy. And with laser communication, you need that precision, right, to maintain those links. And even a tiny piece of debris could disrupt the signal.
Yeah, so it's not just about launching more satellites, it's about managing space traffic and making sure that these systems are sustainable in the long run.
Exactly. And then you have the whole issue of cybersecurity, these high bandwidth communication links. They could be vulnerable to hacking or disruption,
Yeah.
especially if they're being used for critical infrastructure or, national defense purposes.
Right. That's a pretty sobering thought. It's like we're building this super highway in space, and we need to make sure that we have some guardrails in place to prevent any catastrophic accidents.
It's a crucial consideration. And then there's the question of equitable access to this technology, right? Will this be something that's available to everyone, or will it end up making the digital divide even worse?
Yeah, that's a really important point. We have to make sure that the benefits of this technology are shared widely, and it doesn't just create this bigger gap between the haves and the
And
have-nots.
absolutely. It's not enough to simply develop the technology we need to think about how it's implemented and ultimately who benefits from it.
This conversation has been a roller coaster of emotions. There's excitement and wonder, and now a bit of anxiety. It's clear that we are standing on the edge of a massive technological shift. But as we navigate this new frontier, there are a lot of complex questions that we have to consider. I think it's time for a quick break for everyone to process all this information. We'll be back soon to wrap things up and explore the bigger picture implications of this laser satellite revolution. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and we've been talking about all these amazing potential uses of this laser satellite technology, but I think we need to zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. Like, what are the geopolitical implications of all this? Because it's not just about faster internet anymore, is it? It feels like we're talking about global power dynamics.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a really important point to bring up. I mean, the successful rollout of this system could really change the balance of power globally, and it could give China a big boost in terms of global influence.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. How does a satellite network translate into actual, power on the world stage?
Well, imagine a scenario where China becomes the main provider of high-speed internet and data services to developing countries. especially in places where there's not a lot of existing infrastructure.
So it's not just about connecting people within China, it's about connecting China to the rest of the world.
Right, exactly. It's a way to build relationships, establish economic partnerships, and project influence across entire regions.
So it's like a digital Silk Road extending China's reach through this network of super fast satellites.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And we also have to remember that this technology could play a big role in China's space program, which is growing all the time. They're already talking about missions to the moon and Mars, and this kind of communication system would be crucial for those ambitions.
So it's not just about, internet on Earth, it's about establishing a presence in space too. Are we talking about like a new space race here with China trying to take the lead?
Well, it's definitely a possibility, and I think it raises some really big questions for the rest of the world. How will the U.S. and other countries respond to this? Are we going to see more investment in space exploration and technology development, or is this going to lead to more tension and competition?
Yeah, it feels like we're at a bit of a crossroads here. This incredible technology could lead to more cooperation or it could lead to more division.
And I think that brings us back to something we were talking about earlier, the importance of responsible development and international collaboration. As this technology becomes more powerful, we really need to establish some clear guidelines and norms for its use.
So we're not just talking about technical challenges anymore. We're talking about ethical and political challenges as well.
Exactly. We
Okay.
need to make sure that this technology is used for the benefit of everyone, not just for the advancement of one nation's interest. We need to make sure that it's not weaponized and that space remains a place for peaceful exploration and scientific discovery.
It's a huge responsibility, and the stakes are definitely high. But after all this discussion, I'm actually feeling pretty hopeful. We've seen how this technology could change the world for the better in so many ways, from disaster relief to scientific research.
It's definitely a remarkable time to be alive. We're witnessing a technological revolution unfold right in front of us.
And the best part is this is really just the beginning. Who knows what other incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner?
The possibilities are truly limitless, and as we move forward, I think the key is to approach this new frontier with a sense of wonder and curiosity and a commitment to using this technology for good.
Well said. I couldn't agree more. And with that, we have come to the end of our deep dive. I hope you all enjoyed this exploration of China's laser satellite system and all its mind-boggling implications. It's a story that's still being written, and we can't wait to see what happens next. So keep looking up at the stars and stay curious.